This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Buzz, and I'm very excited to be speaking with Renata Reinsve about Presumed Innocent. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm a little flustered from being late to the meeting because I couldn't find the Zoom link. I'm very, very bad on the internet in general, so don't take it personal.
Not at all. Thank you for being here. This role, I think, is a very intriguing one, but it's also strange because we barely get to meet this character when she's still alive.
Yeah, yeah. It was very interesting. Because I had seen the movie and I of course thought it was like a mysterious, very intriguing character because you have to like fill in your own like fantasy about her. Uh, and uh, and I had never worked on like that big of a show or anything. And I had only done one other thing in English ever. That was A Different Man. So I never thought that I would even be involved because it was so many people also auditioning for this role. And I remember I was also really late for the audition because I couldn't find. I had the wrong date, and then I got on, and then I was very late for the audition. But I just remember I felt the script wasn't really finished, and because it was still a work in progress, as I was told, and the character needed some, I don't know, texture to it. And I remember working with Jake Gyllenhaal in the audition, and that the the most fascinating thing was actually being able to go into that kind of space and start working on what the character could be. And also with Anne, Anne, like she's Norwegian, so I say it like that, but that we could actually start to explore what she could be already there. And then that's kind of the way I want to work. So we kind of built it from there.
I feel like also in addition to some very informative flashbacks, we get a lot of just this violent shot of her dead that we keep seeing in the courtroom. Is there like how do you have to prepare for something like that and the fact that that's a majority of the screen time you get in the show?
I would say yoga because it's very hard to be in that position. But I had this wonderful stunt woman and stunt coordinator, and we worked a lot on the physique of, and it was actually during the show. It was kind of a little tension the whole way because it was pretty dark, and then me and Jake, we actually got a really good relationship. We became friends, and it was actually really disturbing, I think, for him to see me like that and to also be in that position. And also the way I end up like that. Not to give too much away, I don't know if I can. Probably a lot of people have seen it, but the way I end up like that was also the scene that kind of is the murder was also really uncomfortable to do because you want to do it in a respectful, in a truthful way, and it was really, really uncomfortable, actually. Yeah.
I think we can talk about the ending. We'll just issue a
Oh, we
spoiler
can.
warning for
Okay, okay.
anybody,
Yeah.
you know. What it sort of seems like, people are trying to cover for other people and no one's really thinking about like Carolyn is sort of an afterthought by that point. Like she's dead, but it's also like, let's figure out how we're not going to get in trouble for this. And to sort of lose part of her in that, which is unfortunate.
Yes. Yeah. It's yeah, it was also really hard to, it was also during the strike that they wrote the not during but right before they finished the script. And we kind of started filming before we knew the ending, and that was really hard to balance how much you would give and how much you would hold back from the story as an actor, and kind of having a little bit of responsibility to yeah, do takes in different ways so that also the director had different options to and that they could also twist the story. I think this genre really, you have to kind of make it all over again when you edit the whole thing. So you have to kind of be smart and work together as actors and directors and everyone involved. You have to be smart.
I imagine that even though you had read the scripts, there's still a lot to surprise and when you actually watch the show because the scenes that you're in are so select, and even though it's so much information, and unlike what we see in the courtroom, which is all just a lot of arguing, this is actually like what we need to know as an audience to be able to solve this mystery. But
Yeah.
you're really not part of all that. It's like the idea carrying through, but you're not in those scenes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was there was some parts that I don't know if I read, of course, everything, but I didn't know what it was going to look like and how that family was going to be. It was really strange to see what I did with Jake, because I almost only acted with Jake and what the whole family built together. It was very interesting to see those two dynamics work together in the show. And yeah, my role was really physical. It was a lot of the physical love, the physical intimacy. She represented that. She represented also what happens to the body in a murder, when you're yeah, that your body goes through that. And it is kind of, that's what's, I think, struck me with this character, that she's very physical. And of course, I felt it when I was on set, but even more when I watched it, I think.
I think also in the final scene that we see of her alive in the last episode, it's interesting because when she's saying, "Well, I'm actually going to be around a little bit more because, this baby is coming," I'm not
Yeah.
sure exactly how to read that because to me that seems like her just saying like this is happening, like I'm here, I'm not going anywhere, but not as a threat. But that's obviously not how it's taken, which is why she ends up dead. How did you read her intention in that scene?
Yeah, we did it different versions actually, because we could go really dark and we could make Carolyn also threatening, because she was so sick of everyone judging her and being in that situation. She was so locked in. She had not really that many options. She has kind of all her freedom in her life taken away from her, being in that situation, being actually in love, and but no way of actually living that love out. So I think the way, yeah, it ended up is that she has that small grudge towards her situation. And it's kind of read as a little bit threatening, but she's also just saying the truth. Actually, she is saying the truth, that the family is lacking. So she's giving the truth that they also need. And of course, it's very unfortunate how the daughter reacts to it. But yeah, I also like scenes where you have to read in stuff. And I really enjoy shows or movies that aren't, that you're not given all the answers, that you have to fill in a little bit yourself, and that it's more ambiguous, that you're not given all the answers. I feel not so underrated. So that's also my taste. Yeah.
Well, does this make you want to do more English language television, this experience?
Yes, now I'm kind of over the worst fear of the language barrier. And I also like, and now have friends in the industry also in the US. So it feels safer now. So definitely. And also, it's so much resources, it's so many great actors and directors. So yeah, I would love to. Yeah.
You mentioned A Different Man before, and I know that this is an exciting time for this film. It's getting nominated for a bunch of awards. I had the
Yeah.
chance to see it way back at Sundance a while ago, so it's nice that
Oh,
everyone's getting to
really?
rediscover it now. And that character to me is a really interesting one because there's so many different ways that you can read her. What do you like best about her?
I think I think what I liked best was that she starts off as this girl next door, and she's really empathetic, and she's really just curious and wondering, and she's getting these confusing feelings toward Edward, her neighbor. And then everything changes and she kind of turns into this very I she's not all her bad sides come out. She takes his story and uses it as her own, and she is not so empathetic, and she kind of gets more ambitious than anything else. So I really like that twist in her. And then she has another twist, I think, but that's, I don't know how much I can say about that.
You shouldn't spoil that movie. That's right.
No,
We
no,
don't
yeah,
want to
yeah.
go too.
That one we don't spoil. Yeah.
But I do think it's a good follow-up for you from The Worst Person in the World, which I know a lot of people really love and is a very enjoyable movie. And it's nice to see you moving from some of those films over here in the US. But I also had the chance to see Armand, which is
Oh,
a
really?
completely different thing. And I think so much about that one scene where you're just laughing for an uncomfortably long, period of time. Can you tell me about the experience of that film?
That was the hardest role I've ever done, but I also did it together with my best friends, because we made a short movie 10 years ago, 9 years ago, and we finally got money and we got to make this movie. And I think because of all the trust that we have between each other, and that we're really good friends, we really pushed so far. And yeah, I think that breakdown scene lasts for 10 minutes, but they had actually given me 5 days after to rest, so I was just sleeping. It's also a really physical and really dark role, so that's kind of a red thread through the whole year. I think I need to do something lighter soon. But of course, it's a gift to actually get those roles. I think the role that Halfdan Ullman-Tøndel, the director, wrote is one of the best female characters I have ever played, and some of the scenes is actually an impossible task to do, and to be pushed and trusted to do that is, of course, a great gift to be able to do, but it was hard. Yeah.
Do you have other potentially lighter roles coming up soon?
No, not yet. So I'm gonna have to look for them. I am drawn to the darkness, but I need some something else.
Well, you mentioned your TV taste briefly before, and I'm always curious who I'm talking to since this is awards buzz. What have you seen recently, a film or a show that's really impressing you as particularly awards worthy?
I saw The Brutalist, and I think that's a masterpiece. Have you seen it? I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
it's so fantastic. I think the work on all levels are so solid. It's really like cinema, and I think the actors, I've never seen Adrian Brody that he's in. I've never seen actors do what he does in some of the scenes. He's really great, and even though they have this seriousness, they really keep the playfulness. So I really, really love that. But I also seen The Substance. I love The Substance. And I've seen Anora, of course. I love Anora. And of course, Mikey is fantastic. But also that Russian actor, Yorick. No, how do you say?
Borisov.
Yes, he's really good. It's so impressive in those because he kind of comes sneaking in, and towards the end, he has this fantastic scene. It's amazing. Yeah, I just came out of the shoot from Joachim Trier's last movie, so I'm like catching up, but those are, yeah, my favorites so far.
Anything you can share about that project?
What do you want to know?
I'm just always a fan, always eager just to see what's
Yeah,
happening there.
I think I have a really good feeling. It was a fantastic shoot. And it's kind of the same themes, but more about family, and how everything that we carry is kind of inherited pasts, like our previous what do you say? And now I've lost my words. I haven't
Previous
spoken about
lives.
this before. Yeah, but also like the family members, like it's so intertwined, and how we affect each other, and how we try to like get out of these structures and social structures that we're stuck in, and try to break loose from. So but it was actually a little bit lighter than the other ones. So that was nice. Yeah. It's very funny and very moving, I think. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I look forward to that. Congratulations again on such an impressive year, and I look forward to speaking again in the future.
Thank you. And you too.